Sex in relationships. Are we all at it like rabbits? Or does Netflix and chill mean Netflix and chill? Is sex the secret ingredient when it comes to a long-lasting and happy relationship? Or is it absolutely fine if the only action between the sheets is snoring? Do we spend too much time worrying about whether our sex life measures up to other people's? And if sex drops off the menu completely, does that matter? And does that mean it's gone from your relationship forever?
Hi, I'm Amanda, and I'm 35 years old.
Hello, I'm Steve, and I'm also 35 years old.
We have been married for 5.5 years, just about 6 years. And how often would you say we have sex?
I think probably on average about every 6 weeks.
The noise in the background may be indicative as to why.
Yeah. We also have a 22-month-old son called Elliot, who is trashing the place.
I'm Charlotte.
I'm Jacob.
And we've been together for 4 years. We haven't had sex the last 3 of them, and we're not planning to.
Yeah, we're very much in love, but it's no longer part of our relationship.
Hi there, I'm Steve.
And I'm Tom.
And we've been going out now for 4 years. We've been married for a year, and I've never had sex with Tom.
So we identify as asexual, which means that we have no sexual attraction to each other or anyone else, but we're still very much in love.
Possible that people are having less sex than they did maybe 10 years ago. What we certainly seem to be seeing is more people reporting that they are dissatisfied in their sexual relationships. Whether that's a cultural shift in being more comfortable in regards to talking about sex, or whether people are actually having less sex, I'm not sure.
Would you say it was quite physical then at the start when you got together?
Yeah.
No. I wouldn't say so.
I'm going to come off quite badly in this.
No, you're not. It's just the truth. When we get into a good run and we have sex more regularly, it's great.
Yeah.
When we have sex, we have good sex.
That's true, actually, yeah.
The frequency has decreased since we've had Elliot, for sure.
And it depends on how many fits and start. Again, like those fits, like the highs and lows you have. So sometimes it used to be, you know, on average it would be twice a month, but you might have like 3 or 4 times. Or
Yeah.
you'd have 2 sets of 2. I mean,
Yeah.
You know, even the other month. Like, I think we're getting back into the other month.
Yeah, we have been getting better.
It was like twice in 2 days. And
Yeah,
it
which was
like, wow,
great.
okay,
we were like, oh my God.
Let's carry on. And then Elliot started teething. It's like, let's not carry on.
Yeah. Let's just lie here.
Let's
As a coma.
Yeah.
And for once, like, I would say that our lack of sex life at the minute is down to me. Like, I'm just so tired all the time. Because my job is full on. And so it's full on there and then full on at home. And I don't cope when I'm tired. Like, some people just sort of, like Steve, just cracks on with it. And he just sort of, like, he's fine. Then he'll have the occasional sort of outburst where he's a bit grumpy for a day. But I totally shut down when I don't have enough sleep. So it's, you know, I find it hard enough to keep my mood up. And then sex just goes to the bottom of it. It's like my libido is just tired.
We both identify as homo-romantic asexual, which means that we are homo-romantic, so we're attracted to each other. We're both attracted to the same gender. And asexual means that we're not sexually attracted to people or each other. So it's very different to celibacy. It's not a choice, it's a sexuality.
And tell me about your first date.
What was our date like the first date we had?
We had an Indian takeaway at my flat.
First time you'd ever had one?
The first time I ever had an onion bhaji.
We sat down, we ordered some food, we got the food delivered, we watched a film. Halfway through the film, I did the typical very sort of like, oh, there we go. And sort of, and that was sort of like, that was at the tester, wasn't it? That was
I
the
remember
tester.
that.
I thought you remember that.
Yeah.
And it's probably one of the best one-night stands that we've both ever had, where nothing happened. It was brilliant.
We sort of tried it to see what worked for us for the first 6 months. It really wasn't making either of us happy because it wasn't, I'm asexual, and some asexuals can enjoy sex and that's quite normal, but lots of them don't. And so I wasn't happy, and Jacob's told me a lot of times that he doesn't want to be having sex with someone who doesn't want to be having sex, which sounds obvious, but a lot of people don't get that.
ultimately we tried what was normal, and that wasn't working, and it wasn't something that I felt was important beyond any other part of our relationship, and it wasn't something that was going well for us, and it wasn't a deal breaker in any sense of the term. I mean, it's fun, it's exciting, and it's a big deal for some people, but ultimately I had a fantastic relationship with a wonderful person, and it wasn't even slightly comparable in terms of what was important to me.
I think people understand that you can have sex without love, and people understand the concept of hookups, and that kind of proves that they're separate concepts that can exist individually. And I think it's extremely sad the way some people prioritize sex over happiness, when you shouldn't be measuring it by the amount of sex you get. You should be measuring it by how happy you both are, whether that involves sex or it doesn't.
Normal doesn't exist. It depends from couple to couple. It's about the quality of the relationship, and it's about the desire of the two people in it.
Since Elliot's come along, the one thing that has changed, I find, is that daytime, like sex that's not at night, is harder to come by. So morning sex, he's up at 6.
Yeah.
You're never having sex in the morning ever again.
Yeah, and morning sex used to be the one time that we would like.
Yeah,
usually get it done.
Yeah, because you're in. Get it done. Tick that box. But yeah, and sort of like, so daytime sex, afternoon sex, it's not. That's like with a kid around, that's not happening. Even if you put him down for a nap and you're like, right, guaranteed 2 hours, we've got 2 hours. You're just kind of like, no, I should probably do other stuff. And if I'm not doing other stuff, I should probably catch up on some sleep.
Yeah.
I personally think people have had less sex for forever. I don't think that the kind of sexualised society we've got now is reflective of people having more sex. I think there's more pressure to have sex, and maybe people are sort of maybe forcing themselves to kind of have more regular sex. But I think if you look back in history, there's always been this kind of theme around maybe spinsters or bachelors or people who just don't kind of engage with that kind of scene, I guess. But I think there's maybe starting to be a little bit of a counteractive movement against this really sexualised world, not necessarily in a rebellious sort of political way, but more just in the silent way of like, actually it's okay not wanting to have sex, or it's okay having less sex.
We have really unusual reactions actually to our relationship, because people say, oh, you're just like any other normal couple. And I said, well, I thought that's what we were. Just a normal couple, but evidently we're not.
But when you think about it, like, you wouldn't normally see a sexual couple in sexual situations, so we're no different.
No, we're not.
It's just that we don't become sexual at home. As far as we go, would be cuddling. And, you know, like I said, we don't really feel what we get up to at home is really any different to what we do in public. And, you know, depending on how you look at that, I think, you know, what we would do day to day, so, you know, hugging, kissing, that's about as far as we would go.
I think you could have a successful relationship whether there is sex in it or not. Some people don't need to have sex to be happy, some people do. It's a really unique thing. It's important to distinguish the difference between intimacy and sex, and I'm not suggesting that you can't have both at the same time, of course you can, but some couples could reach quite high levels of intimacy without having any form of sex.
Absolutely. This is someone that I care about more than anything in the world, and that I have no interest in a life without. So it's just an activity, it's fun, but there are a lot of things I do for fun. I wouldn't you know, break up with my girlfriend because she got rid of my PlayStation. I'm not going to break up with her over this. I don't think I can have a conversation with someone about it without there being some kind of implied burden that's been put on me, when actually it's a choice I've made and it's not a difficult one.
People can't really comprehend why you would want to be with a woman that's not putting out.
More or less.
And in terms of being a sexual person, Jacob, in a relationship with no sex, how do you make that work?
The same way I made it work when I was single, essentially. I hadn't had any sex prior to meeting Charlie. I had a very small amount of sex after meeting Charlie, but the coping mechanism is essentially the same and pretty straightforward.
For us, it's very much built around that connection and that romance, but you know, a lot of people say you can have sex without love, so you can have love without sex. It just makes sense, and it works really naturally.
And a lot of people ask the question of how is it you can identify with loving someone when you don't have sex? My initial reaction to that is, if that's really all a relationship is supposed to be based on as far as romance is concerned, then we're doing it wrong. Everybody must be doing it wrong. Because there needs to be something, there needs to be some form of mutual attraction. There needs to be something there that says, do you know what, I want to spend the rest of my life with this individual. I want to spend time with this person in their company, but 24/7, I really don't want to be giving them a damn good seeing to.
We're always holding hands, and just a thing I love is how nice he is about me in public, and how he's just always talking about how much he cares, and it's really sweet. I'm not as good at it myself, and I feel really bad because he's just perfectly romantic and like Prince Charming all of the time. I've never been able to be this close or affectionate or open with anybody else.
I think it really depends on the couple. So if the couple are happy with the amount of sex they're having and the quality of it, it actually doesn't matter how many times a year they're having sex. I think if you found a couple in their 40s, 50s, 60s, but been together a significant amount of time, I think you will find most of them will tell you that their sexual relationship will ebb and flow. And that can be down to a whole heap of life's events that come most of our ways. Bereavement, moving home, young children, work, fatigue, illness. I mean, the list is endless. As long as communication is effective, then I'm not sure that that really matters too much.
Communication is the key. And also, you know, don't be too disheartened if it isn't happening too much, because I think, you know, it happens to all of us, and we will get it back. We will get there. I think. Yeah. I promise. I'll put out more now.